should we just like start?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to introduce yourself first?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they know us by now.
Right. I mean, but well, this is the Domino effect.
Yeah, it is.
What are we talking about today, Zed?
We're doing loneliness after like a month of not uploading.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Well, it hasn't been a month, has it?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, we're gonna upload 2 this month at
Like
least.
three weeks at least.
Okay.
So yeah, what do you want to start with first?
Well, loneliness is literally one of my biggest fears. I don't know about
I,
you.
I remember.
Yeah. I think like loneliness for me is like the biggest fear that I think I can ever come up with because like it encompasses like a lot of my other fears.
Mm.
Like my family, like not being around them, which I guess
Mm-hmm.
technically I'm not right now. I'm very close with my family right now. I mean, we're going through some stuff right now, but we'll come out of it. Um, if I didn't have like my husband, I think, I mean, I'd probably still be with my family, like living with them or at least very close to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I do have my husband. Um, I don't know.
I
What do
mean,
you want?
it just it sucks. Loneliness just sucks all together.
Right. And I think it's very like loneliness right now, I think it's very like relevant
Yeah.
because I think a lot of people feel that way. They want to fill a void. And you can even be like in a relationship or even like around people that truly care about you and that you may truly care about as well. But loneliness can take so many different facets.
Yeah.
Like I am the only girl in my family, other than like my mother. Thank God, like my um
Good.
yeah. Sorry, my family is texting me.
Oh, you're good.
Um no, I think that like for me, like me specifically, I think
Mm-hmm.
if I don't have at least 1 or 2 close friends I can talk to, or like someone in my life, maybe a relationship or a family member that I can't talk to, I think I get really lonely. And like me being in a family full of boys, like I
Mm-hmm.
literally just had brothers. I don't have any sisters. The sister that I refer to, who's Eliza, is not technically like my real sister. Um, but I could just call her that because that's what she is
Yeah.
to me. Like that's
Yeah.
her role in my life. She's my baby sister, but technically she's not related to me. Um, but no, I think that loneliness can be very crippling. I mean, not to bring it back into what my field of study, but there are like a lot of studies based off of how humans are social creatures, and we like if we are lonely, we will go through like we would go through like a lot within that, like going insane or just depression.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety, if you have that, can spike really easily because you're not around people that can distract you. I feel like with people that have anxiety, or at least if you don't have a panic form of anxiety, I feel like you definitely like, at least like in my experience of like what I've known, um you definitely need like people around you to like distract yourself, kind of
Yeah.
almost.
For sure.
But yeah, that's
I feel um I feel like I said before that I'm like a person that doesn't fear anything, But like if there's one thing that I could think about fearing is like actually like not even physically, but just like being by myself in all facets.
Yeah.
Like physically, mentally, emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
like just everything else. I'm just by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, for some people, like you would think about it, it's like, you know, being by yourself doesn't seem that bad, but like the thought of nobody also wants to be there beside you, it just fucks with me.
Yeah. I mean, that's completely understandable. I mean, my brother has COVID right now, and he has to be alone in a hospital, like by himself. And I'm sure many people that have COVID, as serious as my brother does, um, are by themselves, like in a unit, because they don't. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
they put you with anybody. They just because they don't want it to get
They don't
someone
want it to like
worse,
spread.
right? Um, and the doctors don't want to be in there that long because that puts them at risk and their families at
Yeah.
risk, which then put others at risk. So it's just like it's very hard to like be by yourself when you're sick. And I mean that's kind of like I think what's more like my brother, while he is getting better, thank God. Um, Slowly but steadily, like I think the strain of him being by himself was a lot for him because we've never.
Mm.
My family is a big freaking family. There's six of us, and there's at least someone in the house with you like at all times. Like when
Mm.
I had first gotten married, like it was weird for me to be by myself all the time because my husband was in the military, and
Gotcha.
that was a big thing for me to be by myself that long.
I feel like it's like loneliness itself. Like for me, I'm like fine with being in a house by myself because I only
Mhm.
grew up with a sister and a mother, and
Mhm.
like I could see my dad like if I called them.
Mhm. Mhm.
But like for you, like you grew up in a fucking huge ass family, like you didn't have alone time, so like that there's like a stark contrast when you got married that you just by yourself sometimes.
Mhm. Sometimes hours.
Whereas,
Or like
yeah,
I would wake up by myself because he would have to go to like like um it's called McMaps, but it's basically like a karate course from what my
okay,
understanding was. So like it was like a training. It was training.
oh, okay,
And he would have to wake up at like 3:30 in the morning and he would have to be there by 4. And
Jesus,
so like even if I worked
I
that
couldn't
day,
imagine.
yeah. So even if like if I worked that day, sometimes I'd work at 6 or 7, like
You
I
still like wake
I would
up
wake
and
up
he's
alone.
not there.
I would come home. No one would be home. So I'd be by my. I mean, I'd go to work, and like if I didn't have to work that day, I'd be home all day by myself. Now I wouldn't wake up
Mm,
as early. Sometimes it would just kind of
yeah,
depend on what I decided to do that. But I mean, because I work so early usually, um, and if I had to be at work like at 6, I was up by like 5:30 to get there,
mm.
or 6:30 to get there by 7, and you know like it was, I'd just be by myself. And it was just something I really had to get used to. And even
Yeah.
now, like, I still have to get used to that. Like, just, um,
I feel like me and you were different in that regard. Whereas like you aren't used to being by yourself.
no, not at
Whereas
all.
like I cherished being by myself.
Hmm. Well,
Like if everybody was out of the house,
hmm.
I was as happy as could be.
Well, like, there were moments where I did have those moments because, again, there's always someone there. But, like, if I was
Yeah.
alone for more than maybe 3 or 4 hours, I would get antsy. And I'd have to go,
Mm.
and I would physically have to turn on, like, all, like, there was one time where, like, I remember it clearly. My mother and my father came home. I think my brothers were doing something, or they were out, or whatever. And they were probably just at the
Mm-hmm.
mall, which was like basically across the street from my house at the time. So they were probably like watching a movie or whatever. My parents like went out on a date or whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
And I came home from school because I didn't want to go to the whatever my brothers were doing. So I was like, I'll just stay home. Like, who cares? I was home
Mm-hmm.
alone for probably like 6 or 7 hours. Now, I'm like an older teenager. Like, my brothers had no problem. My brothers are 2 and 5 years younger than me. Now, granted, Adam, oh, I shouldn't say his name. Granted, my youngest brother, I'll cut that out later. Granted, my youngest brother was not home by himself because, like, even at 15, he would have been, like, if I was 15, he would have been 10. So we obviously didn't leave him home alone by himself.
Yeah,
But,
that's true.
you know, if he was with, like, the twins, at the movies, or, he was at a friend's house, or he had football or whatever. My brothers all played sports. Sometimes I'd
Yeah,
be home for like 5 or 6 hours at a time, and like I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah, I can do, and granted, like I could do like 2 to 4 hours, like that was fine. But I remember this one time my parents came home, literally had three TVs on the house, almost at max volume, because I just couldn't. Like, it was late at night. We're on where that house was. It was near a very main road, and there was some sketchy shit that would happen on the road. Like, there would be drag races like during the summer, and
Okay, yeah, that makes more
so
sense.
even 15, like, I'm a woman, like I'm a young girl, like at 15. I don't care if you're 15, like, hearing this, but you're a young girl, like, you don't want to know, like, late at night, like,
Yeah.
it had probably, it was probably like 11 o'clock at night. Like, it wasn't like, and then there was even times where my parents would go and like they would go out with like their friends or whatever, because my parents are allowed to have a life outside of the kids. I was old enough to babysit my
Fair.
brothers, or again, they would just go to the mall. Um, and sometimes my youngest brother would go along with him. Sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes he'd stay home with me. The baby of the family was kind of my baby as well. Like, he was just a baby of the family.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like now he takes care of all of that. Um, but I mean, we all take care of each other, honestly.
What a turnaround for him.
I love him. I love all of my brothers. They hate it. The twins, I think, hate it the most. Not that they hate that I love them, but I think they hate how much of, like, I still see them as, like, my baby brothers. The youngest,
They hate it here.
yeah. Well, the youngest, like, because I think he's the youngest, and because he's, like, even with the twins, he's 3 years younger than them, and then, like, with me, he's 5 years younger than me. And because the twins kind of always have had each other, even though they were boys, the youngest would always want, I feel like, would always be around me. Even, like, when I went to go visit him when I was with my husband, um, my youngest brother was always hanging out with us. Whereas the twins, like, just didn't do that. Like, not they didn't come visit or whatever, but they just didn't. They didn't want to. So it was just one of those things. Um,
I'm just learning shit. I've never really known about.
oh, really? How do you mean?
Yeah. Cause I mean, like, I'm like listening to your story, and I'm like looking back on it, and I'm just like, me and my sister didn't really do that. We were just like in two completely different lives. We just lived our lives like completely, not like completely separately, but like we were definitely like not into each other's shit. You know what I mean?
Well, your sister is like my age, isn't she?
Yeah.
And you're 3 years younger than her?
She's 94. I'm 97.
Okay, so 94, 97. So yeah,
Yes.
3 years.
3 years. But she was she was 4 grades higher than me because she went into school early.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
No, I just feel like, I mean, but my family again is like a lot bigger than yours. Like, we have two extra kids, and then like my
Yeah.
parents are still together. So like there was both of them
Yeah.
always were in the, not like always in the house, but like they were both like in the house.
In and
Right.
out. Yeah.
Um. Um. But no, like I've always felt very. I just never was alone, and I think with that, it just, the few times that I was in my life, granted, in recent years, I've had to be alone by myself. Like, I've slept with, like, a knife under my bed because, like, there's some sketchy shit happening outside, like, the apartment that I was living in, or my townhouse or whatever,
Shit.
and I was alone, um, that I've had to, like, I've slept in a closet one time because I was so terrified. But, I mean, I was alone, and I personally do not do well with being alone. Like, I hate it. Or I hate feeling as if I'm alone because it bothers, like, it raises my panic level. Depression on high. Like, I just cannot deal with it. Mentally, physically, nothing. And I have been diagnosed with panic disorder, but mine's a very physical form of it. So, like, I faint, I get lightheaded, I throw up. Like, it's very physically inducing. So when my loneliness would happen during the months, like, when I was alone in certain parts of my marriage, I would get really sick because it would just physically be so much stress on my body. And I think there's a lot of
Gotcha.
people that are like that, honestly. I think it's more common. I think people just don't talk about it, which is kind of like why I wanted to talk about it, especially like in this time, like with, the pandemic happening, the sickness that's going around, people, having to be separated from their families for so long. Like, that's
Yeah.
horrible. That's absolutely horrible. Like, people, like, I'm across the country from my family, and it's been absolutely devastating to me. And I can only imagine other people that are going through it as well. And so it kind of brings us back to the topic of, like, this is why I wanted to talk about it, is I think it's very important for people to understand, like, you are not alone. Excuse me. You're not
Mm-hmm.
alone. You have people that probably are going through the same things. Like, connect and just, like, understand that it's okay to admit that, like, hey, I'm lonely. I need people that are gonna be my people around, whether that, like, my language of love is acts of service and physical touch. So for me, even just like a phone call, or just like a
Yeah.
text being like, hey, how are you?
What's
What's
up?
up? Right. How's
How's
it
it
going?
going?
Like,
What is your day
yeah.
like today?
Or, like, I'm sitting here doing this podcast with you, but, like, I see your face, you see mine. Like, this is giving me what I need to fulfill my void of
Mm.
loneliness.
Yeah.
And I think even people who don't suffer from, like, the fear of loneliness like I do, I think still there's people that are like, I am lonely. Like, I have no one around me that I feel like cares about me.
And like you don't have anybody that you can talk to like
Exactly.
truthfully and
Exactly.
honestly.
And I think that's really important. Like, being lonely, I think, is a very severe emotion. I think it can cause a lot of damage to people. And I think during this time, like I said, like in
Yeah.
the world today, like, people are lonely, and you know, they do certain things they shouldn't do because they're lonely. Or maybe they go outside of their comfort zone because they're so lonely, because they want to meet people. They meet online people, friends, Discord. That's how we met. We met on Discord. You're
Mm.
half a country away, or a little bit more, like 2/3, but still,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, like you go to the ends of the earth to just like fucking talk to people at least, or at least like interact with
Yes,
someone, just to have like fill that void, however the fuck you can.
exactly. No, exactly. I think it's really important. I think it's also really important to just be open and honest about those types of feelings as well. And I think there's other
Yeah.
feelings that also go into loneliness as well.
I feel like this is one of those feelings that nobody really like actually talks about.
Agreed.
Like nobody actually like openly says, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
lonely and I need help." Like that's another thing. Saying that you need help is like you just don't. You don't say that apparently. Like you don't say that you need help
I do,
because you don't want to
but a
like.
lot of other people don't.
I know you do, but like I don't like people don't want to break that facade of like them being okay. And like saying that they need help is like a pride killer thing.
100%. 100,000,000,000%. I agree with that.
Hi, boy.
Really?
Sorry.
That's That's the dog. Jake.
Hey, BB. But yeah, but it's just I just feel like there needs to be like people just need to talk about it more.
I think so too.
And it's like people are afraid to show their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do it too. Shit.
I think like in that regard,
I'm very paranoid.
I think in that regard we're very opposite. Like if I'm not okay, I tell everybody. Because I'm like, listen, I'm not okay. Like I need attention. But it's not like I know sometimes like it can come off as like, I don't want to say like an attention whore because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I think everyone kind of has those tendencies at some points in their lives or just some points like in general, but where they want attention. And there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with like wanting to have attention. There's just an unhealthy, I mean, it's just in moderation of like you wanting that. But I think for me, like, again, like with what my family's going through right now, like I need good people around me to be like, it's going to be okay. Like your brother is strong. He's young. He doesn't have any prior health history. He's going to be okay. And if he's not, God forbid, he will be okay. I have people that he's going to be okay. I have people around me that will support me and love my family through that. And I think that's very important, like to be as open and honest as possible, as genuine too. And to not, I don't want to say like to lie, because I don't think people lie about their feelings intentionally. I think they lie to cover up how they feel.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't want to worry other people, or because they just feel like, oh, if I show this weakness, it means I'm weak.
People are gonna think of me differently.
Or that, yeah.
Or yeah.
I think people think better of you because you are vulnerable with them. I don't think they think of you. And if they do think that you're weak or that you suck because you cried, blah blah blah, you don't need those people in your life. You just don't. You
don't need them in your life in the first place.
No, cut them out. Cut them out completely. They don't deserve your attention, your love, or when they come to you and they're like, oh, woe is me, blah 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 blah, and you're like, listen, like this and this happened. Even if you're just having a really crappy day, you spilled your coffee on like your favorite blouse or shirt or shorts or whatever, you got fired, or the lady who got your order completely wrong at, the drive-through, whatever, you were late for work, and then your boss yelled at you, like just, bad day. You come home and,
just shitty fucking day.
You come home, your house is a mess because of whatever reason. You don't want to deal with anything. You just want someone to be like, listen, here's some chocolates, or here's your favorite food. Here's my love for you, whatever it can be. And just be like, I'm here for you. It's okay to feel these feelings.
Yeah.
I think at some point you do have to move on from that. Like, having one bad day does not need to ruin the rest of your week. Grief, however, is completely different, which we will discuss in a later topic. But I think for loneliness specifically, I think it's the first step to a lot of serious mental illnesses that people just don't realize. And I think they don't talk about enough. And I think if they did, they wouldn't get to the point where they're like panicking or feeling as if like the world is just crashing down around them.
Oh yeah, because the worst thing you do is you can fucking bottle it up, and then it just kind of explodes, and you just slowly stop doing the things that you thought were fun, and then it just kind of like all pops out, and he's like, oh, I was sad that one day like 4 years ago, and I never talked about it, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
I just like had a mental breakdown type of fucking thing, which I've actually had. I've actually had one mental breakdown. I can say it. It was 2 years ago.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You told me a little bit about this before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like even when like you were talking about, not that you had like another mental breakdown at all, but like you were vulnerable with me, and I even said I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like I want you to be like this with me. I was like, how many times have I? Again, I said this in the last podcast, but how many times have I like bawled my freaking eyes out to you in my car and just was like, I hate my life
That's
and blah
true.
blah 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 blah.
But I don't like being
I mean,
vulnerable.
who does? Except for myself.
That's just, I mean, that's true.
I don't like being.
I'm not even gonna go into that one.
I don't know how to not express if I'm not okay.
Express
If I'm
yourself.
not okay,
Yeah.
I'm not freaking okay, and I'm not gonna pretend like I am. Like in a professional setting, yes, I can pretend for that amount of time. But when I go home,
For
so
like
for
that 8 hours.
that 5 or that 4, that 1, that 2, whatever. In a professional setting, like at work.
Yeah.
Yes, I will try my best to not show the fact that this, or this, or this. There's some circumstances that, like,
Yeah.
I can't help it. Like, if, you know, a family member's in the hospital, which has happened a couple of times, or, like, if I am going through, like, some very bad health issues, which I did at one point last year. There's one time where I had to get tested for cancer cells on my cervix because it runs in my family, and they weren't sure. Yes, I was fine. I'm fine. But they had to do it because it runs in my family. My mom and I think it was my mom and aunt, actually. I was going to say my grandmother, but I think my mom and one of her sisters had to get laser removal, like off, like cervical cancer, they had to get those cells removed off their cervix. And so they had to test, you know, to see if there were cells there. There weren't, thank goodness. But it was very.
Do you have to get tested again?
They usually do it during your gynecology visit anyway. Like when you do a pap smear, but that's every like few years anyway. Like they do it for all women. But for me, for my family at least, they do it every year. Yeah, but that's just because it runs in my family, and if I have issues. Now, if I don't have any issues or whatever, they're not going to check. But if they're like, oh, are you having this, X, Y, Z, then they're like, okay, spread them, and they check. It's what you have to do. Listen, we can talk about a gynecology at some point.
Sammy's Sex Talks is another podcast, all right?
It's a little snippet of a different...
It's another topic.
A different type of part of this podcast. Yeah. So... Jesus. But we will be talking with a gynecologist at some point. I guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, we've got some fucking shit lined up.
After all of this stuff with the health and everything, I actually might have a doctor. They're actually OBGYN that might do an interview with me. Yeah. So, but we'll see.
Damn, I need to get caught up on my interviews. Fuck you. All right, show me up. I haven't asked anyone.
And then I might have a family counselor that I might also talk to about grief and just that kind of thing.
I need to talk to my fucking musicians.
And then,
all right,
well, it's easier to talk to doctors than it is to talk to musicians.
Yeah, and YouTubers.
Yeah.
Than all them artists, streamers. Anyone that can speak that I find interesting.
It's just mine is just, yours is the creative side of things. I like the science, so that's where I gravitate.
I mean, science is still creative.
I'm doing research, so you kind of have to have a little bit of a creativeness because you have to come up with theories. Well, yeah, you have to
creativity
come up with theories and reasons and hypotheses and things like that. But anyway, we're getting off topic. Till I cut that part out. But anyway,
nah.
But
yeah.
No, I think that with everything that's going on in the world, you need like good people
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't feel that loneliness for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
And like,
Because it's slowly starting to seem like every year you're just going like
it
worse and
really is.
worse.
It really
For
is.
fuck's sakes. So like the need for good people is just like
And there
even
are
more
good people
poignant.
out there. I think people need to realize that. And
Oh yeah.
the thing is too that I've kind of learned about just like in that sometimes like I get like little snippets of this lesson sometimes in small doses, but I've learned especially like in my 20s specifically just because of
Mm-hmm.
the friends that I've had. And even like when I was younger, sometimes you have friends for a season. I know people have like made that for a season or
For a
even for a
season.
lesson. And it doesn't have to be even friends. It can be like a
Okay.
relative that, that you might be
Mm.
close with.
I mean, you really can't
Well,
like
but like
cut
if they're like a
relatives
second
though.
cousin or
Not like
something
the
that
same as
you
you can cut
only
friends.
see like 3 times a year, but you were
Ah,
close with
well,
like when
yeah.
you were children because your parents raised you guys together or something. You might have someone there for
Yeah.
a lifetime. You might have someone only there for part of your
True.
lifetime. You might have someone there for a few months. You might have someone there for a season, however long that season may be of your life. Like you have that person there. Some of them teach you lessons. Some of them teach you things about yourself. For me, I feel like a lot of the things that I've relationships with people that I've had in the past, whether it be a friendship or a more than friendship type of person. Um, I think what I've learned with dealing with loneliness is that people will take advantage. Um, I've been definitely taken advantage of
Mm.
before. People also sometimes just won't care. The people that you think might care won't. And that's not your fault. It's not really their fault either. It's just
Yeah.
you two were not meant to connect in that way. Even no matter how hard maybe each of you wanted to, no matter how hard maybe you really wanted that connection to happen. Whether it be family, friends, a relationship, like a partnership, like a spouse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes you just don't connect for whatever reason. And maybe something bad happened, maybe something didn't. It was just more of like a falling out, or maybe even just like an argument that escalated, or someone did something bad to the other person, like stabbed their cat. I don't know, but
All
you
right.
know,
I don't. I don't think that people could fucking
listen, there's some crazy
stab
people
their
out there,
cat.
you
You
know.
know, I feel like there's lesser things that you
It's
can make an
still the
argument
last.
out of. You
Listen,
know, you
it's still
stabbed
their
my
last
fucking
brownie.
cat.
Okay, whatever the reason.
You stabbed my fucking. There's no argument for that. You stabbed my cat. You're going to prison.
Okay,
The
but that
fuck?
is a relationship. Listen.
Okay, it does,
They're
but there's no
crazy.
argument
No,
for it.
but listen.
Oh yeah. All right. I stabbed your cat, but let me tell you why though. Why I
Listen, there's
stabbed your
always
cat?
reasons.
No. What? You stabbed my cat.
I would never.
The fuck?
Listen.
Get out of my house.
I would never stab someone's cat. I actually really love animals. I was a vegan for like a while actually. I really only eat fish actually. Like I don't really eat a lot of animal products anyway. I sometimes eat chicken. I just want to make that very clear before we move on.
You're
I'm
not
not
actually,
stabbing
stabbing cats. You're not the masked cat stabber.
Oh my goodness.
For fuck's sake.
Anyway, no.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
Fucking new supervillain.
No, but sometimes those relationships end, and you learn something from them. I think everyone does. You always learn something from everyone that you meet in your life, whether it be a good lesson or a bad lesson. But you do learn something, and you learn a lesson. And I think the lessons I've learned
For
from
sure.
you are to chill the fuck out. I mean, I've learned that lesson from a few. You do say that a lot.
I do say that a lot.
But the thing is too that you don't try to change the person. You grow with them. Whether like people will change.
Oh yeah, no.
Like I am not the same person I was 5 years
Oh yeah,
ago.
because I learned that. Yeah, I learned that before I met you. That like I can't
Right.
change who the person is just because like even if it's like a good change that I know that'll help them out in the end. I can't do that for them. They have to do that for themselves. I can only really like goat them in the right direction, but like whether they want to change or not is up completely by themselves.
Sometimes for myself, that's something that I think I will constantly have to learn, because it's not that I feel like I try to change people, but I think I try to change their circumstances, and because I just care so much, and that can be both a weakness and a curse sometimes, because I mean, you've right.
And a strength, but
right.
you know.
I mean,
your weakness and a curse, but you know, fuck the strengths.
No, it can be a strength. It is.
What, caring a lot? Yes, it is. The fuck. Exactly. What the fuck? You're gonna be that one doctor that never quits.
Of course not.
And then,
I never know when to quit. As Judy Hopps says in Zootopia, hey, Disney plug. There's always a Disney or a DC plug in all of the. See if you can find them. There was one last podcast as well. Yeah. I think there was two actually. There was one DC and one Disney. Actually, there was two Disney. But no, I think that people definitely underestimate loneliness. I think people underestimate the value of being friends with somebody. Even just being friends with people can mean the entire world. Knowing that they are not
just alone. Having a friend. Yeah.
Knowing that.
And I feel like people really take friends for granted, or like people that are just there for them.
I think so too. I mean, what are your thoughts? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
I mean, I've done it. I've done it before. Like I've taken people for granted. Just like thought like, oh, they're gonna be here forever. It's cool, but like they're not. They're not gonna be there forever. You've gotta cherish what you have in the moment when you have it. Because like you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen like tomorrow or the next hour even.
Too. Like there's people that like I still wish I was friends with, because I still had great times with them. But I know that the reason that friendship ended was for a reason. Whether that be my fault, their fault, or both of our faults, or we just didn't connect. We didn't have that connection that we either both or I wanted for us. It happened recently. It happened with a girl that two girls I used to know right around the time that I believe I got married. And it really was hard for me because I cherished them both. And I don't feel any hate for anybody. I don't think I can hate anybody in my life. Maybe you can hate people.
I can.
I cannot. I think
I can hate for you.
Someone is if they killed my unborn child that I have not had yet. Like if I had a child and someone killed them, after they came out of my womb. Not like as a baby. I mean, as a baby, yes, but like at any point, I'm just saying, like if I have a child, if I have
I don't know. Well, hold on.
And someone like kills my child, I could probably hate.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
All right.
Sorry. The word
that makes more sense.
No.
I just thought you were gonna get like stabbed.
That would be also really odd. Why are we talking about stabbing things?
Today? I'm pretty sure you could. I feel like the title's just gonna be something about stabbing.
That's terrible.
Today's not. I don't want this to like be a stabby day.
Let's not. Even though I do own knives, but that's beside the point.
Oh god.
All right,
I've got
you know
two
what? That
machetes
just makes
right
it sound
here,
like we're
right
preparing to be
me.
serial killers, but that's fine.
I mean, you don't have to have a machete to be a serial killer.
That's debatable. That's debatable.
I mean, you could just be a camper and have a machete. Like,
yeah, but
a machete isn't a prerequisite for killing.
I mean,
okay, but I don't kill people either. What?
I'm
What
He
the
has
fuck?
never killed anybody. FBI, please do not come for us.
Fucking, you about the FBI about to kick out my fucking door because of that shit. The
Oh
fuck?
gosh, and you're black, so you'd definitely be profiled. Let's not.
Yep.
Let's just cut
I'm
that out.
fucked.
Anyway.
No.
No, I 100% agree with the fact that I think loneliness is definitely detrimental, if I could speak. I think that both of us go at it very different ways. I think we even got like relationships differently too. Not
Yeah.
again, and when I say relationships, I don't just mean like, oh, a
Yeah.
boyfriend or a girlfriend or a spouse or romantic. I just mean like in
Romantic,
like
yeah.
family or friends or whatever.
As much as we're putting loneliness as like the big, like bad, like not even like the big bad, but like one of our like fears. It's also a good
Yeah.
way to learn as well.
Oh, 100%. I think people
being
need to
alone.
learn how to be alone. But I think there's a difference between being alone and being lonely,
Yeah, for sure.
if that makes sense. Because I think if you can learn, because I know a lot of people in my life that have never been alone. They don't know how to be alone.
Oh yeah, I do know somebody like that
Yeah.
too.
I think we know a few people in common that don't know how to be alone.
Oh, yeah, those two.
Yeah.
I
think we know a
even
few
thinking
more
about
than
them.
a couple. We're not going to name names, obviously. I'm alluding to.
I was about to say, what are you alluding to right now?
But that's for a different topic for
Oh,
us,
Jesus.
just privately.
Just,
no cameras, no recording,
no cameras,
nothing.
no cameras, no recording.
And even just people that you know about in my life,
We're talking about
but that you haven't met
side
yet.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay, I just want to shout out to one of our friends right now. I won't say his name, but you know as soon as I say something. They literally have checked. So like I said earlier, my brother has COVID. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yep.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He literally has been texting me every single day, sometimes morning and night, just to make sure I'm okay. Because he knows that I'm away from my family. He knows how close I am with them. And I've known him for over a year now. And I just want to give a little shout out to him because he a homie.
Well,
he is. He's a real one.
He a real one.
But no, I think that knowing the fact that you, and I'm saying you as like a generalization, I think the fact that like knowing that you can be alone,
general you,
is very different from loneliness. But I do agree with you. I think that like being alone can be a good learning thing for yourself as well, inwardly and outwardly. Because I think when you can feel good about being alone,
yeah,
you also I feel like you exude something, a more confidence about yourself because you know that you're okay with yourself. Does that make sense? Like I know so many people that are not like that at all. And there's it makes sense. Again, this will be another topic as well, but like confidence is something that can come from so many different facets, and insecurity is the same thing, so many different things. And that, again, that's a whole nother topic. But I think that loneliness is definitely and being alone are definitely, they kind of go hand in hand, but at the same time, they're very different. And I feel like they affect your life very differently as well. Whereas I feel like one's more of a negative and one's more of like the positive aspect of almost like the same kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the same like action.
Yes. Right.
Because you're alone. You're just alone. It's just the mental state is like whether you feel like you're just alone in your thoughts or you're actually lonely.
Yes. 100%. I agree. 100,000%. Um,
Oh shit. Song of the day.
okay.
I just thought about
Oh
that.
shoot, it is my turn.
This is your turn.
Well, you
It
already
is-
know what I'm probably about to say
Today is episode 2.
for my song of the day.
Do I? Oh shit.
You guys have new Carol.
Does that have to do with Carol and Tuesday? Oh
Two
my
songs.
fucking
Which
god.
one do you wanna choose?
I
know
think it's
me
gonna be
too
Move
well.
Mountains.
But I feel like the
Yes!
Loneliest Girl
Yes!
would go better with this one. So we're gonna do that one.
Oh yeah. Wait, I was about to say, what were you gonna do if we didn't watch Carol and Tuesday? What was the song of the day gonna be?
I think I had a list. Yeah, I did. I do have a list.
You had a list. Shit.
The Loneliest Girl, yeah.
So song of the day is Loneliest Girl.
The Loneliest Girl.
Loneliest Girl.
Tuesday. Go check out that anime.
By Carol and Tuesday. Sung by
like what was it, like 4 months. And let me tell
Yeah,
you.
talk to them. Talk to them on how much you
really
did want to watch it.
I kept saying no, but let me tell you, it is so good. We watched what? The first season in 2 days? 2 days.
First season, yeah.
And honestly, actually, no, because we started early last night, which was really this morning. So we literally finished the first season in 1 day.
So yeah, technically today.
In 2 sittings. It's real good. And it has music.
Yep.
So if you love music, like we do, obviously, at some point we will create like a playlist for our podcast that you can listen to. But we'll do that on a later. Yeah. We'll put it on Spotify, but it'll
put
be
it on
at a later
Spotify.
date. But check out for that. Wait for that.
That's gonna be a fucking wild playlist.
I made a really weird face just now. Anyway, but I think. Do you have any closing thoughts, sir?
That's gonna be very all encompassing. Loneliness only sucks if you make it suck.
Okay, well, I mean, it's one of my biggest fears, but all right, sir. Just throw my fear in the. That's just for
mean, you know, that's just for me.
Dang,
I'm not
being
trying to
called
throw
out
your
right now.
fucking biggest fear in the trash. But like, I mean,
But
yeah, I mean, you can
right.
You can learn a
But
lot
I think,
from being
but
alone.
Again, I think
is what I'm saying.
At it from a very different perspective. I've never really been alone. Well, other than the past few years, and you've always been like, alone. Yeah.
Yes, I've cherished.
Whereas
being
I
alone.
absolutely freaking hate it. I literally will call you if I'm like, hey, I'm bored and I'm lonely.
And I'm literally just
stared at a wall.
sitting there
I've literally stared at
alone.
A wall before, like
Fine.
And you literally will just like watch me. No, you've watched me. Remember? You were
Why?
like, are you okay? Because
I know, but why?
Depressed and
But why do you look at walls of all
May of
things?
this year was very shitty for me. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh.
I was like in bed and I was literally just
Yeah.
like, the wall.
Yeah.
I do have a Switch. It's called
That's what you
Animal
got a
Crossing.
Switch for
Best
now,
game
though.
ever. Yep.
You're
you
welcome.
Get it. I don't regret it though. I have literally almost all the fish.
I feel like a lot of the things I'm making you do, you're not regretting.
But you also understand me in a way that no one else does. Well,
I got
you
that big
understand
brain.
my interests, I think, better than a lot of people do. I will say that. Like, I think you understand like what I like or what I will like.
Cause we spend a lot of fucking time together.
Okay.
Am I? No.
We know
Am
too
I
much
just
about
pointing
each other?
out that
Yes.
we have spent at least?
Did you learn more today?
Yes. We spent at least. We spent at least 4 hours today together.
Oh.
That's not even counting Carol and Tuesday.
And that's not even
earlier
counting like
today.
the text messages that we sent each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Oh, yeah, those too.
It's just a lot of time.
It's just a lot of
All
time.
the time. But the thing is, though, is that
All
like,
the
I don't
time.
get annoyed by it. Do you get annoyed by it? I don't. Well, no, because we said it last time, didn't we? So we don't get annoyed by each other. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I don't get annoyed by you.
Mm-mm. No.
It's not a
Even
thing
though
I
I feel
think
like we
of.
have very different personalities at like our core, I feel like we agree on a lot of things. Well, Mr. Miyagi,
You can see that.
I feel like we agree.
I didn't even fucking
We
catch
agree
it.
about a lot of things. I think morally, society-wise, like just a lot of things in general. I feel like we have the same type of values and morals and just the way that we want to live our life as good people. We might mess that up sometimes. No one can be perfect. No one can always be a good person. But I think that
I feel like a lot of people think
and
they can be a
just
good
physically
person all the
can't.
time.
You just can't. You're gonna mess up.
You can't. Like something morally ambiguous is gonna come up.
Right, and it's just gonna mess you up.
And it's gonna fuck you over.
What? That's okay. Like you can have.
But also, I mean, that's fine.
Your entire life. You can have more than that. I'm just saying, like, let's say like you were only allowed 3. No, let's say like in a perfect world,
I was about to say,
you were only allowed 3 messes in your life. If one of those is one of those things that anyone is thinking of themselves, like the worst thing that you've ever done, that's one of those things. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Other than my 3 rules, what are my 3 rules then?
Yeah. One of them's not no burping, but I did just
no
burp.
cannibalism.
No cannibalism. No pedophilia. And
no, murder is not off the table.
I keep thinking it's no murder, but I know it's not.
No rapists,
no rape.
No cannibals. It's not murder. Murder is
I
not
always
off
think
the
it's
table.
murder. I don't know why.
I'm be cussing at you while I had a body, but murder is not off the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember when we were talking about FBI a little bit ago?
I'm Capricorn though, and listen, no. But like, here's the thing.
I don't think the FBI cares about your zodiac sign.
We all have a very evil side to us, and I'm okay with that. I've accepted that about myself. We're both Capricorns too, which is why.
I just call it fuck being civil.
You would have drop kicked
that's
someone
just me.
that we both know.
Hey, it's not civil, is it?
I remember one day you were like, "I'll just."
As long as I say that beforehand,
you can just drop kick that person. I was like, "Yeah, but you gotta understand, I have very thick legs. Like I've been dancing my whole life, and I don't think that I won't break his chest." And you were like, "You're right." But you will do less damage, probably. Yeah. I mean,
welcome to the Domino effect, where we break sternums.
It's actually quite easy. We're gonna get the FBI on this shit. Oh wow, we're gonna be shut down. The new subscribers.
Hey, new subscribers. The FBI.
Apparently, yes.
They watch us very closely. They buy all of our merch.
That was a really weird laugh. I felt like Goofy just now.
Jesus Christ. You almost made me want to do a Goofy impression.
Oh, that's
not going on this show.
Let me just say that right now. No, I think we're. I think we did our closing arguments or closing statements. I don't know.
Closing arguments? What is this? A debate? Are we debating right now?
Debating. Our views were just like kind of, it's a podcast, so we say our opinions. So
yeah. Opinion.
But I
Opinion.
think that wraps it about up. Go listen to The Loneliest Girl by Carol and Tuesday. Also watch the anime. And just go watch Carol and Tuesday.
Just go watch Carolyn Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up. Signing off as the Domino Effect.
Yeah. Signing off. This has been the Domino Effect, where we don't stab cats and kick people in the sternums.